I determined our program is stuck in neutral. We should be relevant on the national scene. Something is not clicking, and therefore, something had to give. Well, buddy, I could have told you 3 years ago something wasn't clicking and you were stuck in neutral, and you would continue to be stuck in neutral as long as Jimbo Fisher was the head coach. Well. Would you look how the tables have turned? It was only a little over a year ago when your boy Jimbo Fisher was calling out Nick Saban, saying he's got some skeletons in his closet. Basically just calling him a bad person pretty much. And now, here we are. He's fired. Real quick on the previous video, the live reaction we did to the Georgia-Ole Miss game, I said, hey, where are the Georgia fans at? I haven't seen Dog Nation too much in the comment section, and yeah, they let me hear. They showed up. The video wound up getting over 500 likes, and I swear it was all Georgia fans. I'll show you some of the contents here from Johnny. He said, love your content, Matt. You've been getting me through a rough time. Sorry to hear that, man, but glad you're enjoying the videos. Hashtag Matt be going to pound. All right. I ain't gonna finish that. You see it. I also want to give a quick shout out to Brooke right here. She's a Bama fan, I believe. I'm almost 99% sure on that, but she's always commenting on the videos, and I greatly appreciate you, Brooke. Oh, what about this? Another female? Man, we got some female college football fans. What about that? She said, go Dogs, Matt. Love watching your videos. I just never comment. There's a lot of comments like that saying how they never commented, but I'm glad y'all showed up in that video because I just want to see how many Georgia fans we had. That's awesome. Did want to give some recognition there, but let's get back on with the video. You can't make this crap up. And also remember, right after Texas A&M got that #1 recruiting class, I tried telling A&M fans, it doesn't matter. You can have the greatest recruiting class of all time. You're still going 8-4, and that also has happened as well. But anyways, the reason I bring that up is because A&M fans are trying to tell me, yo, Matt, just wait. We're going to be competing for SEC championships. We're going to be in the SEC championship. And I tried telling you, I tried warning you, you're not. You're going 8-4, buddy, whether you like it or not. And it always blew my mind when A&M fans would take up for Jimbo Fisher and tweet at me and write me on Instagram and say, yo, Matt, I'm telling you, we're going to get to the days where we go 11-1, 12-0 every single year. Why did it blow my mind? For this reason right here. Jimbo Fisher had no proof of doing that in his prior history outside of Florida State. Sure, at A&M, I think that one year during 2020, they went 9-1, didn't they? And they lost to Bama. That was his best year there, and still, Alabama beat you that year by 20 points. And I apologize, I'm harping on this so much at the beginning of this video, because trust me, we're about to get into what just happened. I guess you could call this the Where Matt Was Right segment. I don't find this situation funny to a single bit. I'm pretty even keel about it. I'm like, okay, I mean, what's new? The reason I'm not even excited to the slightest bit about being right about Jimbo Fisher is because I thought it was common sense. This has been documented on the channel for over 3 years, and I've said it ever since he took the job at Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher is a fraud, and he's the biggest scam artist in the country. If you were to look up the definition of a fraud, there'd be a big drawing of Jimbo Fisher. The only reason he even got some recognition and he got some praise is because that one championship at Florida State in which Jameis Winston carried that team. That's the only reason everybody was high on him. It's the only thing you could point to. Oh yeah, well Jimbo won that championship at Florida State, remember? And whether you like this or not, whether you think it should be this way or not, it doesn't matter. This is reality. Your success in basketball, football, any sport will always be judged on championships. It is what it is. When we talk about the GOAT debate, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, what does everybody bring up? Oh, well, Jordan's got 6 rings. When we talk about some of the best head coaches in college football, what do we bring up? Oh, well, this head coach has more championships than this head coach. When we talk about Lincoln Riley, we're like, yeah, Lincoln Riley's okay. Well, a different video for a different day. Don't get me started on that fraud. But the point is, with Lincoln Riley, he can never win a championship, so nobody gave him their respect. Same thing with Kirby Smart. Everybody didn't give Kirby Smart respect until he won that first championship. That's how we base success. We don't care how many 10-2, 9-3 regular seasons you have. It doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter? I'll give you a great example. Mark Richt. If you don't know who it is, look it up. Mark Richt was a really good head coach, but the problem was he couldn't win the big game. And Georgia got sick and tired of it, and they fired a head coach who was going 10-2 every single year. Georgia knew, okay, yeah, this is good, but we can be better. We need that head coach that's going to take us over the hump, and they found him. And here's a conversation a lot of people ain't ready for. Jimbo Fisher left Florida State in an awful and terrible position. He tore that program down before he left. If we got any cinnamon roll fans watching this video, you got to vouch for me on that one. We're not going to get into all of that, but if you know, you know. Getting back on track here with Jimbo Fisher and A&M, a lot of people were somewhat shocked by this. I guess you could say I was shocked by the timing of this, because when I heard the news, I think, yeah, it was about what was it, 8 a.m.? Or it could have been a little earlier, a little later. Can't forget. It was early Sunday morning. That's the point, man. It doesn't matter. Jimbo Fisher, he's fired. I thought it was a joke. A couple people were sending it to me, tagging it to me on Instagram and Twitter. I thought these were troll accounts just making it up because you never know what to believe on the internet nowadays. Anytime I see a crazy headline like that, I always, at first glance, I'm like, okay, this got to be a lie. Let me do some digging and research, and come to find out it's true. And the reason I was shocked by the timing of it, not by the decision, the timing, is because they just came off of a pretty big win. Well, when I say big win, I don't mean like a big, like you beat Alabama win, but I mean they killed the team. Mississippi State is not a very good football team, but anytime you win by 40 plus points in your conference, you'll take that. But come to find out, they already made the decision that they were going to fire him before the game, so it had no effect into it whatsoever. Like if Jimbo Fisher would have lost this game alone wouldn't have been the reason that they fired him. No. They already came to the executive decision that they were going to fire him. What's really interesting about this, though, hold on, I got to try to find this because I don't want to misquote all of it. Yeah, here it is right here. I'm not even going to show you the clip. I'll just show you what it says, quote unquote. Here's what A&M had to say about this, quote unquote. I believe this is their AD. I determined our program is stuck in neutral. We should be relevant on the national scene. Something is not clicking, and therefore, something had to give. Well, buddy, I could have told you 3 years ago something wasn't clicking and you were stuck in neutral, and you would continue to be stuck in neutral as long as Jimbo Fisher was the head coach. I just can't get over the fact it took this long for A&M to play this out. I can't. And after the terrible and miserable season A&M had last year, we talked about it. Everybody kept bringing it up. Oh, well, A&M can't fire him, and they're hesitant to fire him because they got to pay him $85 million if they buy him out. I believe that's what the buyout was last year. It was either 85 or 95. We'll just go with 85. Or actually, no. I think the buyout last year would have been 95. But the point is, the argument that everybody proposed was you can't fire him because of the buyout. Because when you buy him out, not only are you going to just give him $95 million, you got to pay another head coach to come in, and you're probably going to give him at least, $8 to $10 million per year? It was a sticky situation, but I even stated last year, I don't care about the buyout. You got to buy him out, or else your program's going to suck the next how many years he had left? 6 to 8 years. The buyout never persuaded me for a second because he's not the guy. You got to move on. It's your fault for offering him a $100 million contract. And plus, another reason why it didn't persuade me to the slightest of bits is because I know A&M can afford it. And the reason I know they can afford it is because the alumni and boosters are actually the people that gave him this contract. They're the people that pay for this contract, and then the same people that bought him out. That is another deep rabbit hole I'm going to try not to dive into. The alumni and boosters are the people who pay for these contracts. And it finally got to the point where these billionaire alumni and boosters were like, all right, I don't care about the $78 million buyout. We got to have a new head coach. And they wrote the check, or they cut the check. I'll give you a quick refresher here. Let me show you Jimbo Fisher's record while he was at A&M. 2018, 9-4. 2019, 8-5. 2020, greatest year, COVID year, 9-1, in which they still got embarrassed by Alabama, lost by 20 points. 2021, 8-4 yet again. 2022, 5-7, and most recently this year it's ongoing, 6-4. But yet again, at best, you're probably gonna go 8-4. The point is, another 8-4 season. But here's what would have really got me upset if I was an A&M fan, and thank the Lord I am not. In 2021, in the year in which you finally beat Alabama, you had the biggest upset, the biggest win of Jimbo's career. You still went 8-4, and that's with beating Bama. That right there should have been the last straw. I get it. After 2020, you're like, hey, we went 9-1. Maybe Jimbo's the guy. But that year in 2021, you beat Bama and you got over the hump and you still only went 8-4. That should have told you everything. And then most recently in 2022, let's talk about this for a split second. You go 5-7 and everybody's like, well, we can't fire him because if we did, we'd have to give him $95 million. And I don't want to sound like a broken record player here, but my whole argument was, what's the difference of giving him 95 or if you wait another year and just give him 60? Because eventually in the next couple of years, you're going to have to fire him because he's going to go 8-4 every single year. I just didn't understand the logic of even keeping him this most recent season. They got the money. It ain't nothing to them. Trust me. It ain't nothing. It ain't going to hurt their bank account. It's the alumni and boosters paying for this. So yet again, what is the difference from giving them $95 million or now $77 million? Or actually, if you want me to be specific here, it's only $76.8 million. I know. Only. I tweeted this out last night. Texas A&M just paid Jimbo Fisher $76 million to quit. He beat the game. He won live. He did. You can hate this man all you want. I don't hate him. I just think he's a fraud. But if you do hate this guy, don't like him, doesn't matter. He beat life. He won. I think a lot of people get it, but I don't think you get how insane this is. Jimbo Fisher just got paid $76 million to quit his job. Not continue his job, but to quit his job. He got paid 76 M's. He's a Hall of Fame menace to society. He's a scam artist, the biggest one I know. And guess what? And it's why I applaud him even more. He did it legally. And the beauty of this is he doesn't even have to be done coaching. He'll coach somewhere else like a FAU, and it's almost going to be like a side quest. He doesn't care at FAU if they go 0-12. Who cares? He's got $76 million in the bank. Well, after taxes, it's probably going to be, I'd probably say 40. If he has a good accountant, he'll probably get to keep about maybe 45 to 50 of that. Not too sure if that math is mathing right. I could sit up here and talk about Jimbo being fired all day long, but at the end of the day, for me at least, this was inevitable. It was only a matter of time. Not if, but when. As far as it goes for A&M, and we'll talk about them a little later in the week, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. What's next? I can tell you this much. It doesn't matter what's next. It's only up from here. This is no different, and this is a perfect analogy and the greatest example I can give you of being in a toxic relationship. You finally got out. You can get a breath of fresh air, and it doesn't matter who you date next, who your new head coach is in this situation. It can't be too much worse. It can't get too much worse than having the #1 recruiting class in the nation and going 5-7 with that said recruiting class. It's crazy to me because nobody did less with more than Jimbo Fisher. And I don't necessarily know the route that A&M should go after. Do you go after a big-time name, a big-time hotshot, or do you go after maybe a younger guy that hasn't really, I guess you'd say, what's the word I'm looking for here? I guess it's not a word, more so of a phrase, proven himself yet? Do you go after a guy that's maybe like, Auburn did with Brian Harsin, somebody that's not a big-time name? Who knows? I'm not saying go after Brian Harsin. I'm just saying like how Auburn did. They got a nobody. Nobody really knew who Brian Harsin was before Auburn got him. In my humble opinion, if I was in a situation and if I was an A&M fan, I would want a big-time hotshot name and a proven guy. I would want a guy very similar to LSU when they got Brian Kelly. You're not going to get a Brian Kelly, but maybe you can get the next best thing. I'm very curious. Let me know in the comment section. Who do you think A&M should go after? I could talk about this for 40 more minutes. I'm going to leave it off here. Let me know your thoughts down below about that.